Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, everybody. We've been missing for a few weeks. Brown and Orange Weekly. We've been gone for a few weeks. My co-host Dean has had some internet issues. So, in Dean's place, we have a Believeland Media family member, co-host of Guardians of the CLE, James Ellifritz. The Fritz, what's shaking, man?
How you doing, Clarence? I know it's the end of the Browns game today, and we're on here to talk a little bit of recap of what we witnessed and what we didn't witness today, which was a victory. So, yeah, let's get right to it, and because I got some Guardian stuff here at the end of the night too to take care of. But right now, it's all about the brown and orange.
Yeah. Browns a loser, 28-3. Probably about to the Ravens. Probably what 10:30 or so. They announced that Deshaun Watson was not going to play, which was a little shocking. I think most people thought that he'd probably get back there today, but clearly the pain from the shoulder was too much for him to handle. Um, so the Browns went into this game not only without Nick Chubb, who obviously had the season-ending injury versus Pittsburgh, but without Watson. And one of the first things I thought of is, all right, if we don't have Watson, not having Chubb back there to lean on was going to be huge, and the running game itself was going to probably help dictate how much success that DTR was able to have today, starting in place of Watson. I was kind of excited to see DTR play, but I almost felt, and we kind of were talking about this, me and our boss, Kevin Sleds, we were kind of talking like, would it have been more wise to play PJ today? He has at least, some NFL snaps under his belt. Robinson is coming into this game. Basically, this is his first NFL start. I think he had 5 NFL snaps before this, but those don't count when you get into live action like this. And it showed. A lot of people were gassed up to see him, but the problem is that, preseason is not the regular season.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he saw in preseason base defenses. He's seeing, fourth, fifth stringers. Speed of the game's different. So, yeah, this was his true, real taste of the NFL outside of playing against our number one defense in practice.
Yeah. Wasn't particularly pretty for DTR today. Excuse me. 19 for 36 for 121 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks. We're going to get into this a little bit. I don't feel like this offense was tailored to a rookie starting. I feel like they had him making a lot of throws that just weren't not even making throws. I feel like they put him in spots where he just should not have been. The rushing game did not help. They had a total of 93 rush yards today. A lot of that, a lot of that was kind of taken back by Elijah Moore's one rush for negative 20 yards, whatever the hell that was. It's hard to even talk about this. What's your thoughts, man? Like I didn't expect a whole lot, but I expected something different, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, I text you. I said, it's probably first to 20 wins this game.
Mm-hmm.
Expected low scoring with the two solid defenses, but knowing you have that rookie quarterback going against that Baltimore defense, we already knew we had a challenge. It was going to be a challenge, whether it was Deshaun Watson or DTR in his rookie start, very first start, and it definitely showed in the first quarter. He had the drive where there's the interception he threw near midfield. Baltimore returned it to the 10-yard line. And I know you watched the game too. It was mentioned that we've had turnovers in every game so far this year, all 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lamar turned that into a quick 10-yard touchdown run, untouched into the end zone to go up 7-0. And yes, of course, Hopkins had a nice 53-yard field goal later in the quarter to make it 7-3 to still make it still feel like a football game. But once the Ravens went up 14-3, it just felt like almost an impossible down 2-score comeback to ask of DTR.
Agreed. You know what I thought? Like watching the first half, like our defense is playing pretty damn well, for the most part. And I thought after they scored off the interception, I was like, you know what? We're gonna have to play field position all day because I don't feel like they can drive the ball down the field on us, which they kind of proved that was wrong later on. But I thought that, you know what, maybe if we can just limit our turnovers, and play that field position game with them, maybe, we can get the ball inside, inside their 50 and, drive, 20 yards for a field goal or something like that, maybe a few times. And as long as our defense plays well, maybe we could eke this one out. That didn't happen. Our defense, and we kind of talked about this before, our defense they looked great, but then there was points where I thought that was Joe Woods out there and Tommy Togiai and Elliott and all those guys they had last year, because at one point they were gashing us against the run.
Well, the guys in the booth said it right after halftime that Harbaugh said, you have to attack their defense. You can't just let them attack and play around it. You have to attack back. And that's exactly what they did. I'm not surprised about it. That's a John Harbaugh coached football team that plays in a physical AFC North. So he knows the deal. He's been there. He's played against and game planned against tough Pittsburgh defenses to win this AFC North division that we're trying to compete in, and he gets it. And unfortunately today, that not being able to stop the run the way we did last year made it tough. But mentally that our defense had to know that, hey, man, we got to make some plays. We got to score some points today to give our guy a chance because the defense is not dumb. They know what DTR is up against today. And, unfortunately, they weren't able to do it. Lamar had 2 untouched touchdown runs. And that just doesn't look good on our end because once again, you can't control the line of scrimmage. We had guys going down. Our center went out injured, came back, got hurt again later. I saw a lot more of our guys going off. It seemed like a lot more of our guys going off the sideline dinged up than I did theirs. And that's not a good sign because anytime you're playing what we want to call one of our rivals in the division, even though I don't know if they feel that way, you have to show up, and you can't just bring talent. You better bring toughness in this AFC North. We're just not going to compete. And, it's hard to throw our team under the bus on this one today. It was a pretty tough challenge and a tough for DTR to go up against them. But I'm not throwing the season away. Nobody should. Everybody relax. We do have a bye week coming up, so we got some time. But you know what's on the other side of that bye week too, Clarence.
That's right. We got the 49ers on the other side of that bye week, which is not the ideal opponent, I guess, to be coming off of a loss and then a bye. I'd like to ease out of that bye a little bit, but we're not going to have that opportunity. San Fran's going to come out and they're going to bring it. Hopefully, Watson with the bye week, that's going to give him time to heal up whatever the ailment is with his shoulder. But if he's not prepared, if he's not ready to go, that could get really, really ugly. Because I got a question. Do you think that do you feel like the game plan today was a good one as far as some of the throws and things that they were asking DTR to do, being a rookie starter?
You mean the depth of the routes and everything that they were running? Yeah. It was tough because they were sending guys here and there. Of course, you're going to blitz a rookie quarterback, but you already have a solid defense. Some of those those throws were long throws. I mean, I give the kid credit, standing in the pocket, trying to escape, trying to make some plays. You could see some rookie things. That forward pass when he was trying to pitch it back to Bryant.
Mm,
Uh, there was we saw rookie quarterback play today.
yeah.
Uh, but I'd love to see the running game be able to bail them out. I'd love to see more passes to the tight ends down the middle of the field. But then you saw a lot of those plays over the middle of the field. Roquan Smith was there to knock those down and almost got an interception. And
Hmm.
he backed up what he said, but it don't. I mean, he played against a rookie quarterback today, so
Exactly.
relax, Roquan.
Exactly.
But I would love to seen him be put in a little better position with more runs. Kareem Hunt being back there, trying to settle the offense down. Even Jerome Ford, whether or not it's not even about talent. To me, it was about making sure we had the right guys around DTR to support him.
Hmm.
Kareem being able to maybe pick up blitzes, but it was just absolute challenge for our offense. I've said in weeks past that we definitely got a solid playoff defense. The offense, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. I don't think we were even with Chubb and Watson. We weren't there yet the way we were performing.
Yeah,
And to
absolutely.
have your two best offensive players out today against one of the best defenses in the league, you got yourself a challenge, and we were unable to execute today.
Yeah, kind of like you said. Once Watson went out, it just kind of became, all right. What are we gonna see here? Like, unless we've got the second coming of Tom Brady and DTR back there, we knew it was going to be a challenge. And just it was today's game reminded me of a game I've watched a million times between '99 and 2017.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like this was something I'd seen before. Um, if I wasn't recording this podcast, I definitely would have taken a damn nap. That was absolutely it. That was in my cards at one point because I was like, they just can't do anything. Um, I'm I'm a little worried that if this is a lingering thing, then we're shot. I've said since the beginning of the season we're going to go as far as Watson takes us, and that's prior to the Chubb injury. So now that Watson is our guy, if this is a lingering thing, things are going to have to change like pretty drastically.
Well, and I'm disappointed in Watson today. I don't know the extent of that injury, but I'm questioning it because
Yeah.
we got a bye week next week. You got the team in your division that you're probably going to be competing with to win the division by the end of the year, and you can't play through that injury, knowing that you have a bye week right in front of you. I don't. To me, a Big Ben type player, he's playing in that game. And also, if you take this game right now in the same circumstances, as far as the injury goes, and you're
Hmm.
playing Baltimore, and this is a January game, it's a playoff game. You can't tell me Deshaun's not playing.
True. That's
So
very true.
that concerns me from a toughness leadership standpoint. I know he's the leader of the offense. I know he's trying to get on the same page and look better last week with the guys, but I'm questioning whether or not the toughness of being able to get out there. And I heard them say on the broadcast about they went through the pain management and all that. And for me, I think he probably would have been able to make the throws, but the concern is the beat down he was going to get
Yeah,
being driven into the ground time and time again. That's
absolutely.
probably was the issue. But still, for me, that looked like we gave that game away.
Yeah. I guess that was kind of the biggest thing for me is that, we had a chance to go to 3-1. Um, Again, I think the excitement to see DTR there playing was there. Everybody wanted to see this kid play, but should we have gone PJ? the guy who's got NFL snaps and got NFL experience, like would that have made a difference in this game? I mean, I don't know, but I also feel like kind of like you said, we watched rookie quarterback play today. Like the things we saw, the pitch from the forward pass, some of the long passes that were nowhere close to being on target, the three interceptions, like
Yeah.
those are all rookie type things that you kind of expect to see. So in a game maybe as important as this, do they play Pete? Should they play PJ?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The only reason why I say that is if they would have knew that the decision was going to be made earlier in the week, the maybe, but you would have had to practice that way all
Sure.
week,
Sure.
100%. But the other thing is you got a young kid that you got on this roster, and technically he's in the number 2 hole, and all of a sudden you're going to hit the panic button and move the other guy in front of him, the practice squad quarterback Walker. I don't know that looks good too from an organizational standpoint. Even though for us, just from like a reality standpoint as a fan, we're like, we want to see the guy that gives us the best chance of win.
Yeah.
But from the business side of football and the locker room and the personalities, I don't know that you would have been able to do that this week. It would have had to been a decision that happened during practice.
True. My biggest concern is that we roll this kid out there, and again, let's say he has to play in 2 weeks. Again, if Watson's not right, and then he gets bashed again. I don't want to get into a situation where this is again the 99 through 17 Browns, where we're taking in young quarterbacks and we're destroying them by killing their confidence and letting them get clobbered out there, and then kind of like Hugh did with Kaiser, we're putting the guy in, yanking him, putting him back out there.
Yeah.
I'm. He didn't look good today. Let's just be honest. He did not look good today. And I'm not sure again about the game plan, but it's time to win. It is time to win games, no matter who is hurt. And I don't know if he gave us the best chance to win. I really don't.
You're almost thinking like the Zach Wilson situation with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
They have to deal with that all year.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we only had to deal with this for a week, but still, it just goes to show the lack of depth at the quarterback position. Hell,
Yep.
the Raiders have Brian Hoyer on their roster, and I don't know if I haven't looked at the 4 o'clock games yet, but whether or not he even is playing or played. But because the other guys, I forget, Connell or something.
And Jimmy G's out today, right?
Yeah, he's out. So
yeah.
This would have been a game where we wish we had a Brian Hoyer out there to play. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Then it's hard to believe we're saying that, but we're looking for somebody that's got some veteran experience that can win that game and go in there. And Bernie had Gary Danielson, he had Mike Pagel, so he had some vets behind him. But those were different days when they were carrying 3 quarterbacks too.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, now they have the third one on the practice squad, and then they can bump them up. But still,
yeah,
the depth of a quarterback in the NFL, and that's why these guys are getting paid the money they are.
PJ was dressed. I thought for a second they might toss him in, but all right, we need to have a conversation about Elijah Moore. A lot of hype surrounding him coming here this year. What we traded a 2 to get him, and we got a 3rd back or something like that. So basically, we just moved down the draft or something like that to get this kid, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of hype. He's been talked up like this dude is Tyreek Hill, and I'm not seeing it in these first 4 games, like at all. At all. He does not seem to have like that extra gear that that a Tyreek Hill has, or even a Deebo Samuel for that matter. Like there's he does not seem to be faster than anybody on the field. His instincts don't seem to be, off the charts. Again, that reverse was that. Excuse my language. That was some clown ass shit. 20-yard loss. Like, what are we doing with him? What are we?
Was that the long? That was our longest run of the day, I think. Right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and it went backwards. Absolutely. So what are we doing with him? I don't get it.
I don't know. What do you mean? Like, why is he on the roster? Why did the Jets go, hey, let's make this guy available when you got Aaron Rodgers there and you have Garrett Wilson? He was expendable to the Jets, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it shows our desperation of trying to have a playmaker on this team. Why DPJ, when I came on your podcast here and said that this guy is going to get double-digit touchdowns because I thought finally Deshaun Watson would throw the ball down the field to him. That hasn't happened. I don't see a number one wide receiver on our team. I don't see David Njoku as a Travis Kelce light. Hell, he wasn't even Mark Andrews light today.
Who kicked our ass as usual.
Mark Andrews is the guy that Lamar is going to throw to all the time. And you know what? I got to give Lamar some credit because I don't know if it was week 1 or 2 where I saw some of his highlights of some of his throws. And I went, oh, that was actually a pretty nice throw. Like, I saw improvement compared to last year. And then we saw a couple passes. That touchdown in the right corner of the end zone to Andrews where he threw the ball up high where only he could get it over our short DBs. And then that third down pass to the left in the flats to the running back where he dropped it right just outside of JOK's reach.
Yeah.
Was a nice pass. I got to give him credit on that.
They run that shit every year. He does a little scramble, and Mark Andrews' ass is always wide the hell open somewhere. And he gets yak yards, gets 30 yards in yak for somehow every single game. I swear to God.
They should have somebody should be picking him up from the hotel.
Exactly.
Not letting him get open.
As soon as he gets off the damn plane. But I don't I said on this podcast a few weeks back that this is probably the best wide receiver core the Browns have had since they've been back, and they're not really it's not like they got 2 All-Pros and a possible All-Pro. They've just got guys that we think are competent wide receivers. But with Moore, I just don't. This guy, they scheme for this guy to get the ball. They scheme him getting the ball in these various elaborate ways, and I haven't seen a big play yet. Really, I mean, they ran that that double reverse last week for all that shit for Watson to throw a 5-yard pass to him, and he ran the rest of the way. Like, what are we doing with him?
Well, we got guys playing that. You got Cooper as a 1, who's not a 1.
Not a 1.
He's a solid number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Love Amari is a 2. You got Moore that they're trying to make this solid 2, who's not even showing that. He's not. And then you got Goodwin out there. We got Bell on the team that had a couple catches, I think, last week. Welcome to Cleveland.
Not a fan. Sorry.
Tillman, our 3rd-round draft pick. Not that you want to throw another rookie out there with DTR today, but I just don't see it. I don't see Njoku being that all-pro, give me the ball, alpha dog out there that wants to be like a Travis Kelce or a Mark Andrews. I just don't. I'd be calling for the ball. I'd be like, throw me the ball. I need the ball. I need a ball, but it's not there. I think we're just making something out of nothing. We don't have the playmakers we need on offense. We just don't. And I know missing Chubb, yeah, sure. But still, with Chubb, you need help. It's not the 1960s.
Yeah.
Even Jim Brown needed some receivers.
Yep.
So I'm really concerned about our playmaking ability on offense.
I agree.
Because Deshaun Watson does not throw like a Patrick Mahomes, and he does not run like a Lamar Jackson. He has some of those similar skill sets to be able to do some plays like that, but not at those levels consistently like those guys can.
Agreed.
That's kind of where I'm at with Deshaun. And it has nothing to do with any of that off-field stuff that happened. This is just about pure football and what I'm seeing out there and what I'm not seeing. And it was unfortunate not to see him today, for sure. But yeah, we got to find some ways to score points and score some points in a hurry when we need to, especially when we're down 2 scores, because this team just does not look like the aerial offense that's going to be able to just keep. If you go down 2 scores early, you're going to just be able to compete.
No, they don't. They don't look like they have that quick strike ability at this particular point. Again, especially with Chubb out. But as you said, like our wide receiving core, like I said, it's the best one they've had since we've been back, and it's not that great. So that tells you what we've had in that wide receiver room beforehand.
I'm not necessarily with you on that. I want to, because Cooper, maybe he probably reminds me a little bit of Kevin Johnson. When we had Kevin Johnson, he might have had a little more playmaking ability, and Amari's solid, but we don't have. Let's take. Does Kevin Johnson start today?
Hell no.
Prime Kevin Johnson. All right, so
No.
Josh Gordon.
Okay.
Josh starts.
Yes, Josh.
Good Braylon Edwards. I had to define that because there was 2 of them.
We got 16 good games of Braylon.
Right. That's
right. But I mean, it's like a group, as a room. Like, I can't think of a better group of pass catchers that the Browns have had in a particular season. Maybe Season of Dreams, maybe 07, because but even that was just mostly Braylon and Kellen.
I skipped them on purpose. You're telling me Landry and OBJ is not the best combo that we had. Not that we got them the damn ball like we needed to.
Best names.
But Landry was somebody that I trusted.
True. But I feel like behind Landry, though, I mean, we didn't really have much. We were just coming into, that what 3 years ago, that was DTR's kind of first his kind of first foray into the league. OBJ, like, I'll never. People can say what the hell they want. He never panned out.
No, he didn't.
He never panned out.
The whole thing with him and Baker and Landry and all that was just some bad chemistry for sure. And then he couldn't, stay on the field. So
yeah,
trust me, I'm not saying that was. I'm saying more. That's what should have been.
Yes, absolutely.
Should have been. And that's what they thought they were getting when the Haslam signed, when they traded for him, Landry from the Dolphins and traded for OBJ. But they obviously didn't get what they thought on their returns. But yeah, this core that we have needs to do something. That's for sure.
Do you think that they, not that there are guys that are available at this particular point of the season, but do you think they make a move, or do you? I almost feel like they're not doing anything because they're like, well, you know what? We played 4 games, 3 of which had, our starting quarterback, and let's say 2 of those were kind of feel-out games, the first 2 games of the season, for him to kind of, get his mind right and whatever. Do the Browns have to make a move to maybe get in some kind of playmaker?
Got to do something. You can't keep having a group of wide receivers outside of Amari Cooper where there isn't one other guy that's trying to separate. Maybe they're trying, but I don't see it. When do we see it? When do we see it on game day? I've been waiting for DPJ to do that. I would have loved to have seen that. Now, I don't know I don't think he's doing anything different. His workouts are probably the same. He's probably even deeper in the playbook as far as his knowledge goes. How are they not getting the ball? I don't see him dropping the ball like, well, I'm not going to say his name. I know he's your boy. But no, I'm not saying he has bad hands or none of that stuff. But my goodness, like somebody's got to separate. I want somebody to be an alpha dog, to look like want to be the number one. Say, get me the damn ball. Yes.
One catch, 7 yards for DPJ. Are we back in a situation? And I said this probably about 6 games into last year, maybe not even 6 weeks, where we have overrated our talent a little bit. Now, granted, we know this is without Deshaun Watson. We get it. We understand everything that happened with that today. Him playing this is going to be a little bit of a different game for sure. But again, we've got Cooper. My biggest fear last year with the wide receiving core is like if Coop goes down, they're going to struggle. This year, he played all right last week, but I almost feel like they just don't. They do, kind of we said it. They just don't have the playmakers. They don't have the playmakers. So have we overrated these guys again?
Well, here's the thing too, and I've mentioned this in the past. And Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, how many receivers did he make? You know what I mean? The top 5 elite quarterbacks make great receivers too.
True.
Make them because they feel the pressure of, I need to perform because you know what? He's going to put the ball on my hand and I better be ready. And I better separate. I better catch the ball. I better show up every day. All that. And I don't know that Deshaun is bringing the best out of this wide receiver core. And that is a concern for me.
I agree. It's early, but yes, I agree. And you keep talking about separation. Like we don't. Elijah Moore is supposed to be that guy. From everything that we've been told, Elijah Moore is supposed to be that guy. All off season, all we saw was the clips from the Browns. Elijah Moore is doing this. Elijah Moore is doing that. We're 4 games in now. I don't see this separation speed that he supposedly has, and I'm not seeing the playmaking ability. I'm just not. Like I said, the 20-yard loss today, I kind of laughed because I was like, I've been here before, seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
So if Elijah Moore is not the speed guy, and Njoku, who today I think he had a solid game, just I think because he was the only guy that DTR could find. I mean, he had six catches, 46 yards, both of which led the team. But who's going to be that guy? Who's the guy on the roster that can step up and separate? We don't have one, in my eyes.
I'm still waiting because all that stuff from videos that the team releases during practice and preseason and all that stuff, that's all fool's gold.
Mm-hmm.
Looks good on social media, looks good on YouTube, but it's all about game day performance. That's where you make your money.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we just don't have that. We don't. It's not there. I don't know how much is on the quarterbacks. Obviously, DTR struggled today. Deshaun's had one solid game where felt like he was in a groove with against Tennessee. But we need consistency. We need back-to-back. Hell, what's our win streaks been since 99? Have we even had a 4-game win streak?
No, I don't believe so.
Probably not many 3-game win streaks, for crying out loud. So that consistency is what we're really looking for. And here's our in the series now against the Ravens that we want to call our rival, that we're just another team to them.
I saw that number.
Yeah, Ravens now are 36-13. John Harbaugh is 25-6 against the Browns.
Makes me want to throw up.
And here's Stefanski's record in 4 seasons. He's 28-26. Now 2-5 against Baltimore. 2-5. So what are we doing? The thing is, aim small, this small. You got to look to compete in your division. We know what this division's all about. It's not a secret. We just have not been able to answer the bell to be tough enough. Look what happened to Pittsburgh. Go down to Pittsburgh, lose there, because we could not control that defensive line that they had. CJ Stroud goes and shreds those guys today.
Shredded them.
You see that? What was the final score? 30-6. And yes, CJ is a rookie quarterback, but he's starting to get a few starts under him, starting to get some confidence. And maybe, Pittsburgh thought they could walk in the same way Dallas thought they could walk into Arizona last week. And Josh Dobbs beat him. So it's definitely disappointing being 2-2 going into this bye week. And I tell you what, that Stefanski 28-26 record doesn't look real good right now. In fact, when your playoff victory, you were home with COVID, and the other coach is the one that technically gets the win in Pittsburgh. That would have been the biggest win of his career, but he wasn't there. Obviously, not his fault, but still, to my point, yeah, you got a winning record by 2 games right now, 2.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever he sits down, he better put some oven mitts on his ass tonight, because that seat's going to be a little bit warmer tonight than it was yesterday.
Agreed. I think they're going to give him a little bit of a pass, but I just feel like
with the rookie.
Yeah, everything was anemic today. Everything was just very I don't know. It didn't seem like and granted, again, they had to switch up the game plan, last minute, obviously. And DCR did take all the snaps this week, but I don't know, man. Honestly, I'm going to take this game. I'm going to throw it in the trash, because I don't think we're going to see a performance like this again. I hope at least we're not going to see a performance like this again. And take the bye week, get right, get Deshaun right, scheme up something different. I feel like the Browns, all their plays are outside the numbers, and I feel like they do nothing across the middle of the field. Nothing at all, ever.
Well, and we have supposedly a great tight end to be able to do that.
Exactly. So, maybe we can get Njoku involved a little bit more. I don't know. It's hard to take anything positive from this game, but it's also hard to put a whole lot of stock in this game because of the Watson injury.
Yeah, and the time away, it's not going to get any easier on the other side with the Niners, because they're going to give us more of the same. It's going to be physical, running the football, rushing the quarterback. It's going to be a lot of physical play. They took that play down into Pittsburgh and beat them real solid in week 1. So we better toughen up. That's all I'm going to say. Better toughen up. We better run the football against them and be able to stop the run, because we stopped Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry's a great back. However, how great is his offensive line?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a different offensive line than what Baltimore, and that attitude and that standard that Baltimore plays at as a physical team. And that's why they've been able to throw whoever the hell they want back there and be able to get some yards. How many running backs have I seen back there? And it seems like the same old thing. Like you said, you've watched it feels like the same game today that you've watched many times since 1999. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
How do you slow that pass rush down? You run at it, and that's exactly what they did. So, and San Francisco is going to have the same skill set, if not better, than what we saw today. So, yeah, I'm definitely concerned going against the Niners and going to 2-3.
Yeah, that will not be a good look, and we're not sure how long the leash on Stefanski is, but I would like to think that, they've had the entire offseason to put this offense in, train it, get everybody acclimated, and now at this point, if things do not go well, what's the buffer zone? How many games are they deciding to give Watson to get right? Myself, I thought it would take him 4 to 6 games to get right. Well, he's already missed one of the first 3. So, anything that he would have been able to build off of last week, that's out the window now. So now he's got to wait this week and next week before he gets back out there, and that's if he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm not putting too much in this game, but there's just some things that I'm a little bit concerned with this football team.
Yeah, and the reality for Stefanski, he's been given 2 all-pro receivers when he was given Landry and OBJ. He gave him the number 1 overall pick in Baker Mayfield. What do we do with that? Then he gets the one of the best running backs in the league. What are you going to do with that? Right? So, I mean, he's been given talent.
Yep.
Then they go out and, make the trade and spend the money that they do for Deshaun Watson. So you can't tell me that they haven't offered up opportunity for Stefanski to put together a consistent good offense.
Yes.
And the offensive line. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, he came in. He walked in with a nice offensive line. They stocked him up nicely.
Yeah, spent a first-round pick on Wills, and I know he's definitely struggling, but they still were investing in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're I believe that the front offices did, a pretty good job of trying to put him in position to have the talent he needs to, be a consistent scoring offense in the NFL.
Agreed. Well, after this 28-3 beatdown, we're gonna have to wait a couple weeks to see what happens. Right now, San Francisco's up 21-3 on Arizona. Yeah, not going to be ideal if we don't get Watson back by the time that game is played.
Well, I 100% expect him to be out there, and I'm sure everybody else does too. I still think if it was a playoff game, he played today.
We'll see. I kind of agree with you. Again, we don't know the extent of the shoulder injury, but it would have been nice to have a shot at going to 3-1. But I'm pretty sure once we knew DTR was starting, no matter what we saw during the preseason, no matter how people were gassed up, any realistic fan knew this was going to be a struggle, and it was.
Yeah, it was nothing I want to watch back. That's for sure.
No, I'm so glad that. So the first 2 weeks, first week I was at the home opener. Second week I was in Pittsburgh for that game, and having to come back and try and watch that afterwards, to try and do a podcast was maybe one of the more painful things that I've done. This week I'm glad I watched it from beginning to end. We'll not have to go back and watch it back. But we're going to throw this tape in the trash can. We're on to the bye week, and then we're on to San Francisco.
Sounds good to me.
All right. James, any plugs you want to get out there, my man?
Tune into at Guardians OT CLE for Guardians podcast. Guardians are playing right now down 5-2 in Detroit. Last game of the season. Last game of Terry Francona's Hall of Fame career. But yeah, we'll still be doing some coverage in the off season. So yeah, tune in to us on at Guardians OT CLE on X. Beautiful.
Shout out to all the Believeland Media family. Shout out to my guy Dean.
Yeah, Dean
out here a while and he ain't got no internet.
Yeah, Dean, you had to pay for those tickets today. You had to pay for that crazy ass parking. You paid for those overpriced beers. At least Clarence and I got some money in our pocket.
Yeah, I think I spent $12 on a pizza, and that's about it for me.
Hang in there, Browns fans.
Yes, we love y'all, Browns fans. And y'all know the routine. If you do not wear the brown and the orange, you don't matter. Peace, y'all.
Till next.